Why having vision is the most important aspect of your life. Coming up. Hi everyone, this is Dr. Ernesto from AttaBoyCowBoy, and in this channel we give you health and wealth tips to help you be more successful. So I've been talking to some clients and I've been trying to figure out how I could get them motivated. So I thought back and I wanted to share this really cool story I shared with them and why I think it's so important to develop your vision in order to be successful in life. First, let me tell you about what I think vision is. Vision is something that gives you your direction in life. It's a glimpse over your lifetime to make your goals and your purpose a reality. In order to understand yourself and what you want in life, you have to have a clear vision over your lifetime. Understanding this vision is going to give you purpose, and your life is going to become more simpler and a lot more meaningful. Without having a vision in life, you're going to be lost. You're just going to be inefficient, and you're just going to be bumping around doing who knows what till you figure out why you're here. And a prime example that I can remember was, I went to 7 different universities and colleges, and I went to school for 15 years. So I had a lot of different experiences. And I remember that it really sunk in when I went to the State University here in Los Angeles, California State University, Los Angeles. And I had just come out of University of Southern California, USC, which is a really good school, one of the best in California or in the world. It's top 15 in the United States. And I had the honor of going to school there. And it was a really good experience for me. It was humbling. I learned how to work hard, but the most important thing is it helped me develop my vision, and let me explain why. Just left USC and I just had a really good experience there. And I remember before I went in, I had some professors at my community college trying to talk me out of going there. They were saying, you really really shouldn't go there. It's a really expensive school. It's a private school. You're going to spend a fortune. Why don't you go to the state school where I went? I got a perfectly fine education. Look at me. I'm a college professor at the community college and, et cetera, et cetera. And it all made a lot of sense. And I thought, wow, maybe she's right. So it did create some doubt in my head at that time. I was like 19 or 20 years old, but I decided, no, I really wanted to go to this school because one of my good friends, Arthur, went to school here. I was really proud of him. Another good friend, Alexis, got accepted there. And I thought, I want to meet that level of prestige of my friends. I was just really proud of them. And I remember hearing people speak of them and say, wow, that guy's really smart. And I said, really? Why? Well, he got accepted to USC. And I thought, whoa, okay, well, I want people to talk like that about me. So I thought, I'm going to go to school there. So I went to school there, had a great experience, but I didn't really realize what a great experience it was till I left. And then I went to a state school and I was getting my MBA. I was working during the day doing my rotations at hospitals and stuff. And I was going at night to these MBA programs. And I met a bunch of really interesting, intelligent people. And to be fair, the level of education and the stuff I learned at the state school versus private school is pretty much the same. But the difference was the people I was surrounded by. That was the biggest difference. And it was probably the most significant. And that's what helped me develop my vision. I remember particularly, I was in an economics class and there was about 50 of us in the program. So the MBA program was like 3-4 years. At the beginning of every semester, we had to stand up one by one, introduce ourselves, say why we're studying this, what our purpose is, or why we're, what our goal is, I guess, for going to school at night for this MBA program. And I remember one by one, my colleagues would stand up and they'd say, well, I want to get a raise. I want to become a supervisor. I want to become a manager. And I thought, wow, all that is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But I thought, man, you're going to go to school for 4 years at night, work your tail off just to get a raise for a couple dollars. I thought, man, that's a lot of work to do for such a small return on your investment. So when it became my turn, I stand up and I said I wanted to open up a chain of clinics. That was my plan at that time. I was running a successful practice. I had a lot of patients, and I thought, hey, I'm going to expand this out. I'm going to open up a whole chain of them, and I'm going to sell supplements. I'm just going to do all this really cool stuff. And I remember people in the class laughing at me, and I thought, wow, these guys are like people in their 30s and 40s, even like 50s, like adults, professionals. And all of them had regular jobs or, in companies and corporations and stuff, and a lot of them would laugh at me. And I thought, wow, this would happen almost every semester. When I would talk, people would kind of laugh. And when I was in my groups, it was kind of the same thing. We would talk about marketing plans, and they were talking about handing out flyers, knocking on people's doors. And I was talking about social media. Again, this was like 20 years ago. And that was all new, but I would say, hey, let's do cutting edge. Let's use our imagination. Let's do the best. And they just laughed at me. And actually, after a while, I was kind of ostracized. A lot of people wouldn't even accept me into the groups. They didn't want me in the groups. And it made me realize a lot of things, that people sometimes are afraid of the unknown and they don't like outliers. They sometimes don't like people that think different. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, you just have to be aware of it. And you have to be comfortable with yourself and in your body and just to kind of know who you are. And I remembered back to when I was going to school at USC, and we'd have these same types of conversations in my classes. My colleagues would say, the other students would say things like, hey, I want to become the president of the United States. I'm going to start a Fortune 500 company. I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to change the world. I want to feed, a million hungry people. These really like outlandish goals. And I just thought, wow, this is so cool. These people, their vision is just so huge. They just had this magnanimous like outlook on life and on themselves, and they just had like unlimited potential is the way they saw things and no boundaries. And I thought, man, that is really cool, man. That's how I want to be. And that's where I developed my vision. And once I left and I went back to the state school, I didn't lose it. I just became even more aware of how important it was. And not to put any shame on anyone, because there's smart people everywhere and great people graduate from all over the place. You don't have to go to necessarily a top 20 school in the world, but it comes down to the individual, and you really have to extract what you need in this world to be able to be successful. And one of the most important things that we need to work on an individual basis is vision. And don't let other people affect you. I've had some really brilliant friends that have been taken down because of public criticism or whatever, or pressure from other people. You can't do that. You have to have self-esteem, believe in yourself, and work on your vision. And one of the ways of doing that, I believe, is to listen to audiobooks, read books, watch TED Talks, watch people like Elon Musk, some of the most famous, successful people in the world, and look at how outlandish some of their ideas sound, but yet they make them reality because they believe. So if you really want to be successful, you really want to change the world, you want to do things, work on your vision. Yes, you should read, you should study, gain knowledge, all that stuff. And I got that equally at both schools. But the vision was really what helped me separate myself. And if you ever have the chance to go to a really good school and you're considering whether or not you should pay the difference, don't even think twice for yourself or your kids. Invest the money. It's a lifelong investment. I went to USC in my 20s. It's been about 20 years since I graduated, and the effects are still helping me to this day, and they're going to help me to the day I die. So if you really want to have a life-changing event, surround yourself with game changers whenever you have the opportunity, whether it be your friends, whether it be school or work. That's what's really going to push you to the next level so you can reach your potential as a person, and you could be the most successful person possible. So I hope that helps. And from Los Angeles, California, this is Dr. Ernesto Martinez. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.